My name is John. At the moment we have a puppy yellow Labrador called Sky, and Sky is now 4 months old. We came to City Road Vets the best part of 20 years ago. When we moved from London to Cornwall, to Truro, we were recommended to come here. Lost our chocolate Labrador last summer, which left me particularly quite bereft. 3 years before we lost Barney, he became very ill with liver disease, and all the vets were aware of what was going on. Simon was leading that, and you could actually see from x-rays how Barney's liver had diminished quite dramatically. He was in for various tests, and they decided that we all decided we'd give him one more night, and if he hadn't rallied, then we might just have to call it a day. We came back in the following morning, and lo and behold, there was an improvement. Not very much, but Simon was happy enough to say, well, let's give it a bit more time. And actually, with medication over those 3 years, he lived a really good life. You may know livers have this ability to regenerate themselves, and I'm quite sure actually at the end of the day Barney probably had a fairly normal liver as any other dog would. So, but that was purely the fact that Barney survived that particular illness at that time was certainly down to the professionalism of this practice. There was no question in our minds about that. When the day came that we had to say goodbye to Barney, we all knew that the time was right, and I was just so impressed with how that we were cared for, how Barney was cared for actually in those last moments. And funnily enough, I kind of went away after Barney had been put to sleep, and it was really dignified the way it was done, with great care and great compassion from the practice. And to go away, actually, I'm feeling quite sorry actually for Simon, because it was Simon that was doing it. Because it can't, because you know how all of the vets here love animals, and you think, well, it can't be easy for them either. And you do actually feel for them. I'd never ever imagined I'd feel like I did when we lost Barney. We considered whether we would have another dog. We considered whether we would have a rescue dog. And it was talking to the vets here before we made a decision. We came in and had a chat with them, really helpful, and they pointed us, I think, in a direction of having another puppy. Although we are getting on a little bit, I think they considered we were young enough to have another go, and I'm glad we did actually. But in many ways, City Road Vets has been such a support over the years. As far as I'm concerned, they are the best vets that we have ever known. When we lived in London, we had vets, we had all sorts of animals over the years, but we have never ever been so supported and looked after as we have here, which is just wonderful. You know that if there's the slightest problem, you can ring up or you can come in, and you know that it's going to be sorted for you. There was talk at one point about whether we were actually going to move away from Cornwall back up to Gloucestershire, where I grew up. And there are two things that would actually mitigate against doing that, and that is losing my own GP practice, but way up with that is losing our veterinary practice. That would be an awful loss to move away from here.